Well, our next guest is truly living the dream, at least for a couple of our producers that want to just say, you know what, that's it. I'm going to sail around the world. I'm going to have adventures. Pamela Bendall is joining us, adventure sailor and author, and I should say solo adventure sailor as well. How are you, Pamela? Nice to see you.
Well, thank you.
So what made you just decide to say, I'm sailing away, people?
Were you a stockbroker before? Or
I was in the investment business, and during my 50th year, it was a tough year of my life. I was going through a divorce, and my kids had left the nest, and I had sold my business. And I was on my boat one day. I was cleaning my boat, and I thought, I'm happiest on my boat. And furthermore, the boat was built, custom built in Victoria to sail anywhere in the world. And I had lots of experience. I had sailed the South Pacific for 2.5 years in the late 80s with my children and my former husband, and taken all the courses, sailed the BC coast for 30 years. So I just decided, I made a commitment to myself and my boat and my little dog that we would follow our passion and sail
We have
offshore.
a map of where you've gone. Tell us where you went. This is absolutely incredible.
Well, I started a sailing charter business subsequent to that in between northern British Columbia and Alaska, and that was for 3 years. And then following that, I sailed down to San Diego, 3 years, almost 3 years in Mexico, Galapagos, Peru, Ecuador, and then for the last year, I've been in Central America and now Panama.
How do people look at you, I mean, really sort of everywhere, when they see the boat, first of all, or maybe they don't know about the boat, maybe they're just hearing stories from you, and then find out that this is something that you're doing yourself. How big's the boat? 40?
It's 46 feet.
46-foot boat by yourself for any sailor, regardless. That's a huge endeavor.
And she's a big boat too, because she's very heavy displacement. She's 50,000 pounds loaded, and lots of sail. And the biggest challenge for me isn't the sailing. It's the mechanics. It's what I call the blue jobs.
Well, when you're out in the middle of the ocean and you have to fix something, you got to know your stuff, because there's nowhere there to help you. How much have you learned about mechanics and how to fix things?
Well, I've gone from zero to almost pretty well. I would never say all, but I know most of my boat now. But it took a good part of 3 years to understand not only the mechanics, the electronics and all of that, electrical systems, but also I have 11 filter systems. I have, alternator systems, pump systems.
Keeps you busy when you're out there, huh?
Yeah.
I was going to say, there must be a side of doing this that is so much mental and so much just being in the moment and going, okay, I can handle this. Because there would be moments, and I'm sure you've had many, where you felt like, oh no.
Yeah.
Stuff's going on.
Well, I can say I've had highs that adjectives don't describe. I've had lows where I had no idea I could dig myself out of, and and I've had
I would be fetal and
challenges.
crying if I were stuck in the middle of
Breathtaking
that ocean.
fear, I'm sure.
Now,
in a
we've
couple
got some
points.
great photos. We were just looking at a photo of you and a big mahi-mahi. Where was that?
Oh, that was on the way to the Galapagos Islands, and we caught some beautiful fish there. And what we do, it's really fun, is we just slice it up and we bring out the wasabi and the soy sauce, and right there we sit with a nice fresh fish, and then I vacuum pack with the rest of it.
How has the state of our oceans changed the way that you think about things and the way that you live?
That is the biggest challenge for me. And I, before I left 5 years ago, I was a consumer, and I was very much a part of, I supported economies, but having been out there for 5 years, it's certainly changed. The ocean is in serious crisis. And 5 years ago, I would never have known this. It takes living on the ocean to really appreciate what's going on. But it's in addition to the pollution and those things, we have what I call the precious planet perfect storm. It's a combination of an awful lot of things going on. We have all of the carbon emissions going into the oceans all over and through the currents, and so the ocean itself is more acidic, and a lot of the species can't live in the ocean. We have, of course, pollution, we have overfishing, we have big, huge blob dead zones, 406 of them now in the oceans that they're still trying to study. And a lot of this, there's so much more. It's filthy.
Well, and this photo is a perfect example, because not only are we all reliant on the ocean, but you meet people along your journeys all the way that live, that work, that carve out an existence and a life and a dignified life based on the ocean and what they do. How much of an impact does that have on you in your life? being part of these cultures in different parts of the world?
Well, huge. I always try and leave a place a better place because I was there. And when since I've been sailing, I've decided to stay longer and longer in each place so I can actually have an impact on these places. And I started some schools in Mexico. In fact, now over 2,000 children who had never seen the inside of a school are now being educated. They lived in a dump.
Pamela.
Yeah, and one of my first students recently got a $46,000 scholarship to a U.S. university, and he used to live in a dump and tap on your knee at a restaurant in Mexico asking for a penny for chiclets or something, and now he's really going to have a huge future. And then as well, when I go into communities, I teach kids how to do woodwork and make canvas and do, whatever I can.
We have a wonderful picture of you doing a one-handed cartwheel in Machu Picchu, which I think, this is a different one we have here. But this photo here I wanted to talk about because it really represents exactly what you're talking about, what you do. You are single-handedly...
Strength, resilience, joie de vivre, and all those things.
Well, this is doing a one-handed cartwheel with the ancient civilization of Machu Picchu in the background. But
It's a really good cartwheel, by the way.
Former gymnast. Yes?
Right, yeah.
My cartwheels don't look like that.
But it just, I put this in the presentations that I do because one of the things that surprises me is how fit I have to keep myself. And at my age, it gets harder and harder and harder. But I have to climb a 60-foot mast by myself. I have to haul in an anchor if the
And that'll bring us to the next photo of you're basically surfing in. What happened here?
Oh, wow.
Oh, this was my boat was hit by lightning 200 miles from my destination off the coast of El Salvador. And so for 72 hours, I had all sorts of challenges, crisis management for sure. And this is coming into the bay, into El Salvador, riding over a bar. I actually hit bottom twice. They have a pilot that takes you through because the bar changes all the time.
Wow.
But that was a pretty
How big's your keel on
ride.
that? It's
7 feet.
7 feet.
Yeah.
So you're 7.5 feet of clearance as you go.
Pamela, when is your book coming out?
Yeah,
You're working on a book right now.
That's right. It's called What Was I Thinking? It's got a life of its own right now because I'm really getting into the ocean crisis and doing a lot more research on solutions, etc. However, I'm hoping it'll be finished by November. And then we'll take it on the road.
Well, we'll have
we'd
to have
love
you
to have
back
you
when
back.
it comes out.
Oh,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much, Pamela. So nice to meet you.
Thanks, Pamela. Appreciate it. It's
Okay.
great. We will keep up with Pamela. You can check her out online as well. And I don't know, we have your email up there. Is that?
Oh, my website's under construction, so
Okay.
I'm afraid I won't have it posted. But eventually it will be under Pamela Bendall Enterprises.
Beautiful.
It'll probably
We'll
be
keep
a
in
couple
touch
weeks.
with you for sure.
Thanks,
We're going to
Pamela.
take a
Look
break.
forward to-